Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhushcha Saka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Shri Dakshinamurti Sudeshikendram Dvaipayanam Sutrakritam Munindram Sri Shankaram Bhashyakritam Yatindram Maddeshi Kanchapi Namami Vityai Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsarishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyah Sarvopaplavarahita Pragyana Ganaha Pratyagarto Brahmaivaham Asmi Om Prapannaparijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Mritaduhe Namaha. Pranams everyone. So we are doing the second chapter. We are in the second Sloka. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anarya Jushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. So Bhagavan has spoken for the first time, and this is the first time he's actually opening his mouth, and he is not still ready to advise Arjuna on anything. And we saw in the last class why he hasn't started advising Arjuna at all right now. He is waiting for Arjuna to do the Sharanagati, to surrender and to seek help. And he wants Arjuna to seek advice. Until the time that Arjuna seeks advice, Bhagavan is not going to advise. So what does Bhagavan do instead? He spoke like his friend. So he said, Arjuna, from where did you get this dejection? Kutah idam kashmalam. And anarya jushtam. You are not behaving like a Aryaputra. Anarya Jushtam. So we saw the meaning of Arya in the last class. Basically, you do not have any kind of, you are not behaving like a noble person. This kind of behavior is not entertained by noble people. And not only that, this Kashmalam, this dejection of yours is not going to lead you to heaven also. Asvargyam. It is not going to lead you to heaven also. And not only that, akirtikaram, it will lead you to ill fame. It will lead you to ill fame. So why have this dejection come to you at this juncture? Samupastitam tva vishame. At this juncture, why should it come to you? And then he continues in the third sloka also. Klaibyam masmagamah partha naita tvayupapadyate shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktotishta parantapa. Klaibyam masmagamah partha naita tvayupapadyate shudram hridaya daurbalyam Tyaktotishta parantapa. Partha means Arjuna. Mas sma gamaha. Means do not take to. Ma means do not. Ma means not. Sma gamah, not take to. What you should not take to? Klaibyam. Klaibyam means unmanliness. Eunuch. Don't become a napunsaka. Do not become a eunuch where you are unable. Don't take this unmanliness where you are not capable of taking any courageous decision. So unmanliness is a person who actually withdraws when the crisis comes. Klaibyam. Etat naitat tvayupapadyate. Etat means this state. This state does not befit you. Na upapadyate, it does not befit you. Remember, Arjuna is known for his courage. In the Virat Parva of Mahabharata, when Uttara became terribly afraid or frightened, what she did was she uttered the 10 names of Arjuna. And merely by uttering 10 names that they are given, it is said, chant those 10 names, fear will go away. Such was Arjuna's courage and bravery known for. So Arjuna, your name is so popular, it's so popular for courage. How can you be frightened? And remember, Arjuna had fought with Bhagavan Shiva himself. So he was so courageous. So Bhagavan is saying, do not take to this. This does not befit you. Etat na upapadyate tvayi. It does not befit you. This does not belong to you. Next line, Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Shudram means mean person. This mean or this lowliness or this attitude of yours which makes you a lowly person. Shudram. I say it's a disgrace for you. What is disgrace? Hridaya Daurbalyam. That faint-heartedness, the weak-heartedness, that is actually mean. This is lowly. This does not belong to you. This Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. So, give up this Tyaktva. Tyaktva Uttishta Parantapa. Tyaktva means sacrifice or give up. Give up what? Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Give up this faint-heartedness. Give up this one. Uttishta. Uttishta. Uttishta means get up. Get up and do what? Basically, do your duty. Uttishta means get up, fight, do your duty. And here Bhagavan calls Arjuna as Parantapa. Parantapa means scorcher of enemies, destroyer of enemies. So he is reminding Arjuna of his name, one of the names why he is known to be so courageous. And he says, you are called as Parantapa, scorcher of enemies, and here you are taking up to unmanliness. Your mean faint-heartedness is actually does not befit you. So get up and fight. See, right now Arjuna has come through the first step. We talked about 4 steps to Vedanta, or 4 steps of Vedanta, or we said if anyone wants to free himself or herself from samsara, then they have to go past the 4 steps. Only then, and it is true for all of us, only then we will be able to seek moksha. It is not even getting moksha. Even to seek moksha, we need to go through these 4 steps. What are the 4 steps? First of all, we have to discover that we are in samsara. Second thing is we have to have the desire to come out of samsara. The third is I have to understand and accept that my self-help is not working. That whatever I do to actually fit things around or do those small things in my life, changes in my life, whether I am not able to come out of samsara. Then the 4th step is actually to seek the help of Guru and Shastras and study. So these 4 steps are common for all seekers. Only then you become a seeker. So here Arjuna has not crossed the first step. He has only come through the first step where he has discovered that he has a problem. So Arjuna has discovered, but Bhagavan has not started the Upadesha. Sorry. Now he has to decide that he has to come out. Then he has to understand that he cannot do it by himself. Then he has to surrender to Guru. So until this time, Bhagavan is speaking to him like a friend. So Arjuna initially probably thought that Bhagavan will support his stance, that he has spoken all through about, Dharma Shastras from a personal standpoint, from the standpoint of, the consequences of war. So Bhagavan will actually side with him, understand him, and therefore he would actually agree that this war need not be fought. But right now, Bhagavan is in no mood to listen to that or to accept that. Instead, he is asking Arjuna to fight as if he has not listened to Arjuna at all. So Arjuna has to reiterate. So Arjuna now starts again. Sloka number 4, Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna Uvacha Katam Bhishmamaham Sankhe Dronam cha Madhusudana Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami Pujarhar Arisudana Katam Bhishmamaham Sankhe Dronam cha Madhusudana Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami Pujarhar Arisudana. See, at the end of the first chapter, we saw Arjuna said that he doesn't want to do any papa, and he said, even if they kill me, I will not kill them. And he had given all these lines so that Bhagavan will pick up on any of those lines and then he can continue that kind of discussion. Whether it is papa or punya, whether it is okay to get killed or should kill them, Bhagavan is not touching upon any of those subjects. And Bhagavan has not given him any hold. So now Arjuna has to go back and do some other soul searching. He has to come up with something else. So now, so far he had given all kinds of reasons which were not the real reason. His reason of Dharma Shastras, or consequences of war were all superficial. As in, it came to him only just now. He would have thought through, he had fought so many wars, he would have known of the consequences of war any time before. And he also knows that he is on the side of Dharma. But yet he is now bringing all this up because he is trying to cover up the real reason. So in this sloka, he opens up his mind. And this is true for also. Many times we say to others, we have an open mind. When talking to people, we say, no, I am open to suggestions. I do not have a closed mind and all. But if we actually do some soul searching, we will come to know that we do not have any open mind. We are not honest. We cheat ourselves. We only say that to impress upon others. So here Arjuna has so far tried to sort of bring out some reasons, but now he is opening up. So until now he had been speaking in delusion due to his attachment, raga. So he spoke based on his likes, convincing that he is right. That's what we also do. When we say we are open, we say, I am open to receiving suggestions as long as it is in line of my thought process, as long as it falls within what I think I should be doing. So Arjuna, when he said he didn't want to fight for pleasure or for kingdom or for victory, and he said the war is adharmic and this war will lead to kulanasha, jatinasha, he gave a long set of reasons. He did not give the real reason. The real reason was his attachment towards Bhishma and Drona in particular, and he was not able to accept that, and therefore he had given multiple reasons. The same thing when we are asked to give something, we will not be able to, even when we are giving those reasons, we will not be able to see why we are talking all these things. But when we reflect upon it afterwards, or if the other person points out, we will be able to realize how we are trying to cover up the real reason when we are speaking. So here Arjuna is going to Arjuna's bravery is going to come out now, because he is actually saying he is going to accept his real problem. And he says, the real reason for me is Bhishma and Drona. He is going to basically meet his mind. He is going to accept what is going on in his mind. He will say that the real reason for him is not to fight is because of his affection that he has for Bhishma and Drona. And that is our problem also with regards to Dharma and Adharma. We have clear understanding of what is right, what is wrong. But once an attachment comes in between, we try to modify it. We try to justify it. We try to give different reasons for why we are behaving that way. And the application of Dharma, Adharma becomes difficult. Wherever we have attachment, Dharma application becomes difficult. So let's go into the sloka. Arjuna uvacha Katam Bhishmam aham sankhe Dronam cha Madhusudana. Katam means how can, and it does not mean a question, it's an exclamation. How can I? Aham means I. So how can I? Katam aham. How can I? How can I what? Sankhe. Sankhe means this war. How can I in this war? We got Bhishma. Bhishma Dronam cha. Bhishmam cha Dronam. Bhishma and Drona. How can I in this war, Bhishma and Drona? What are Bhishma and Drona? Ishubhik pratiyotsyami pujar har Arisudana. Pratiyoshyami means fight against. So how can I fight against Bhishma and Drona? This is what the real reason has come out. How can I fight against? Ishubhihi means, Pratiyoshyami means fight against. Ishubhihi means with arrows. How can I fight against them with arrows? Why he cannot fight with them? Because Pujarha. Pujarhau. They are Pujarhau. Pujarhau means adorable. Pujarhau means devotion worthy. Devotion worthy. So Pujarhau means, here we can say adorable. So how can I fight against Bhishma and Drona with arrows? After all, they are adorable, they are devotion worthy. In other words, he says, how can I kill Bhishma and Drona, people who are closer to my life? So Arjuna is coming straight to the point, and Arjuna is using two names for Bhagavan here. One name he said Madhusudana, and then the other one is Arisudana. In the first line is Madhusudana, the second line is Arisudana. Madhusudana, Bhagavan killed an asura called Madhu. So Madhusudana, killer of Madhu, so Madhusudana. And Ari means enemy. So Sudana means, Arisudana means killer of enemy, which is Arisudana. So in other words, he is telling Bhagavan, you killed an asura, you killed enemies. So that's all fine. But how can I fight against the adorable, devotion worthy Bhishma and Drona in this war? So basically saying, even if you're thinking, why should I not fight? Why should I fight? Here is my answer. You have been only killing your enemies and Rakshasas. But whereas you are asking me to, or here there is a reason, or here I will have to fight against my own grandfather and my guru. And this is an important sloka, because this is where really Arjuna comes out. Arjuna is opening up and he is coming closer to himself. One of the things for any spiritual seeker is to really understand their mind, our own mind. It is not important to know what is in other people's mind. We spend a lot of time to understand what is other people's mind, what they think about ourselves, what are they thinking about us, what are they talking about us, how are they behaving to us. It is not important at all for a spiritual seeker. A spiritual seeker should be first looking into their own mind, or in fact only their mind, to see what is going on into my mind. So that is more important, and our mind has to be with us. We should really know what is going in our mind, what should be entering our mind, what should not enter our mind. In fact, Kanchi Mahapariva will say one of the best prayers that we can, or one of the things that we should seek Ishvara, Bhagavan, is, Ishvara, please give me my mind. Because there are so many unwanted things, unwanted people in our mind. We constantly think about others only. We do not have our mind at all with ourselves. So we will have to remove them, and we will have to get back our mind. We will have to take the ownership back from the mind. Otherwise the mind will start going wherever it pleases. Yes, Ashish ji.
Can we also say that through this behavior, Krishna has also shown us the importance of staying quiet and listening, because then you allow the other person to keep speaking, and finally it will come out, what they are actually trying to say, rather than responding very quickly and, not getting to know what is really behind what is being said.
Correct.
And two, maybe another way of looking at it is that Krishna helped Arjuna in discovering his real thought or real reason, because his intent was never wrong. It's just that he was having some of those superficial thoughts in his mind earlier, but by prodding him at the right moment, he led him in that direction and come out of that.
Very true. Both the points are true. In fact, yes, Krishna was keeping silent only to get Arjuna to speak his real mind, and he prodded him. He kind of said those words, in fact, that Klaibyam, Kashmalam, Anaryajustam, all those Akirtikaram, all to actually sort of provoke Arjuna to come up with the real reason. Because Bhagavan was not willing to respond unless Arjuna came up with the real reason. So here he actually waited. And that's as I said last class also, Bhagavan's silence is important, because he didn't want to, he sort of waited for Arjuna to come up on his own. Maybe, as you said, if he had started his advice, Arjuna would not have listened at all, or he would have gone astray. We wouldn't have got Bhagavad Gita at all. So yes, Bhagavan waited for Arjuna to commit himself fully. Sloka 5, Arjuna continues. Here the meter changes. Gurun nahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapi haloke hatvarta kamamstu gurun nihaiva bunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. Gurun nahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapi haloke hatvarta kamamstu gurun nihaiva bunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. So he is saying Gurun nahatva hi mahanubhavan. So basically Arjuna is now is getting into another thought, and he is continuing. He says Gurun nahatva hi mahanubhavan. Hatva gurun. Ahatva gurun. Hatva means kill, by killing. Ahatva means not killing. So he says Ahatva Guru, by not killing the Guru, and it includes Bhishma here, although he says Guru, it's not only Drona but also Bhishma here. By not killing who? Mahanubhavan. Noble people, great people. Mahanubhavan means people with high ideals. So by not killing the noble gurus, remember, if he does not kill them, he will not get the kingdom. He will not even get 5 villages. He will not even get the 5 houses. So he will not get anything. So by not killing, he will not get anything. So what then he will have to do? Shreyo bhoktum bhaiksham apiha loke. Shreyaha. We saw Shreyaha means it is indeed better. Shreyaha means better. What is good? We already saw prayers, Shreyas. Shreyas means what is good, or here in this case better. It is better. What is better? By instead of killing gurus, instead of killing Mahanubhavan, he says Bhoktum Bhaikshyam. Bhaikshyam means bhiksha. To live on alms, to live on food that is given by as bhiksha. It is better, indeed better to even live on alms. Alms means ALMS. Alms means basically to actually beg for food. Where? Ihaloke. Bhaikshyam api ihaloke. In this world. So instead of killing the gurus, it is indeed better to beg for food and live in this world. This sentence is very deep, because Arjuna says it is even better to actually beg for food than to kill noble guru and grandfather. So this, we have to see Arjuna's mindset here. This mindset is one of the qualifications needed for jnana. When I say qualification needed for Brahma, does it mean that anybody who wants to beg for food becomes qualified for jnana? No. Here, a beggar begging for food is different from a sannyasi begging for food. We have to understand, we always think that anybody who comes begs for food, especially even if it's a sannyasi also, we think they are beggars. A beggar begging for food is different from a sannyasi begging for food. A beggar seeks food or seeks alms because he is lazy or incapable. Whereas a sannyasi seeks alms or begs for food because he had voluntarily sacrificed whatever he had in his life. He had sacrificed his things and has become a sannyasi. And as a sannyasi, he will have to beg for his food. And as a grihastha, as a householder, it is our responsibility to support sannyasis. It is our responsibility, grihastha's responsibility is to support brahmacharis. Grihastha's responsibility is support vanaprasthas, retired people. So retired people, brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyasi would have to be supported by grihasthas. A person being in poverty, if he is just poor, just because he is poor does not make him great. But if a person chooses a simple life, he chooses simple life with minimum needs, that makes the person great. So here Arjuna does not want to become a beggar. Arjuna says he is ready to seek alms because he is willing to give up the kingdom. He is willing to give up his comforts. And not only that, he is a Kshatriya. Kshatriya have high kind of too much of pride. And here he has even removed that abhimana. He has removed even his sharira abhimana. So here is a person who is willing to give up everything. Remember, another thing is, a person who is willing to give up everything and continuing to live life in the same place is difficult. Generally, if there is a place, there are people who have lost money or who have actually failed in their life somewhere. I mean, failed within quotes. Nothing is failure according to Vedanta. Vedanta, there is no failure in life. Swami Dayananda Saraswati will say, are you breathing? If you are breathing, you are successful. You are fine. So there is no failure. But in the materialistic world, if somebody becomes a failure, accordingly, they have lost money or they become poor or they have lost their wealth or whatever, they try to move to a new place or try to get a new identity. They do not want to be seen in the same locality and among the same people as a failure, because that will hurt them more. There was an exception in Tamil Nadu. There was a person called Thayumanavar Swami. So the Thayumanavar Swami, he was actually a minister for the king. What he did was, he became a sannyasi. He gave up his minister post and he gave up all his wealth and lived among the same people in the same kingdom as a sannyasi, seeking bhiksha, seeking alms. For a person to be able to do that, we need to have a high amount of spiritual maturity. Only Mahans can do that. So here Arjuna is saying he is willing to give up his wealth, he is willing to give up his comfort, kingdom, and he is willing to seek alms, seek food like a sannyasi. He has sacrificed his Deha Abhimana as well. And remember, according to Shastras, a Grihastha cannot live on bhiksha. A Grihastha cannot beg for food. Bhiksha life is possible for brahmacharis. As I said, then the Grihastha, so a brahmachari will go to each house and he will beg for food. So bhiksha means going to different houses and seeking food, asking for food. And we say bhavati bhiksham dehi. So it is okay for brahmacharis, it is okay for sannyasis. Rather, for both brahmacharis and sannyasis, they are expected to live out of food provided by others only. They cannot cook food. They should not cook food. And as a sannyasi, you are not supposed to touch fire also. So you are not supposed to do any fire ritual, including lighting gas and all those things. Anyway, today's there are some sannyasis who live alone and therefore they have to cook for themselves. Some people do that. That's why at the time of Upanayanam, they start the Vatu is actually they start taking bhiksha. And the first bhiksha will be from the mother. And why from the mother? Because the first attempt should not be a failure. So the mother will definitely feed the child. So the mother will not say, I will not give. Because when they go for bhiksha, they are bound to get no as an answer from different houses, from various houses. Many of the houses may say no. And they will have to accept that. The ego should be taken, removed. So the ego should not be there neither for the brahmachari nor for the sannyasi. So others may give or may not give. So, but the first attempt should not be a failure. Therefore, we start with the mother. And brahmachari lives on bhiksha. A vanaprastha lives on bhiksha. A sannyasi also has to live out of bhiksha. So out of the 4 ashramas that our Shastra have prescribed, 3 of them live on bhiksha, which means only the grihastha should support all the other 3 ashramas. So, and therefore, a grihastha cannot or should not seek bhiksha at all. A grihastha is a person who should give bhiksha. And here when Arjuna says, Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyam ihaloke. He means he wants to become a sannyasi. He will become a sannyasi and seek bhiksha. And he does not want war, he does not want kingdom, he does not want to kill noble people. That's what he says. Before we go to the second line, Nitya Ganesh.
Where does a woman fit in all these four ashramas? Because whatever you said now are all applicable only for masculine gender. So it is highly impossible if we think of going and I'm not saying any woman in any of these brahmachari or vanaprastha or sannyasi category. We are always fitting in a grihastha ashrama. How do you want to answer this?
Okay, generally speaking, out of the four, grihastha, vanaprastha, and even at the late sannyasa is applicable for women. Women are part of grihastha ashrama when they get married, and when they get into a retired lifestyle, they become vanaprastha, and after vanaprastha they are supposed to take up sannyasa as well. So if you see many of our Puranic stories, the king will actually give up his kingdom to the son, and then they will retire to the forest. So that first they will do vanaprastha, and then slowly they will actually take up sannyasa, and that's how it is always. So only the brahmacharya ashrama as such is not applicable for women. Otherwise, all three other ashramas are applicable.
Okay. You mean to say even sannyasa? Because
yes,
vanaprastha, I've seen even Dhritarashtra, the worst of the person, went along with Gandhari only.
Correct.
So that I've heard, but not about sannyasa.
No, sannyasa is after that. So typically a sannyasa ashrama comes as the last ashrama. So after brahmacharya, you become grihastha. After grihastha, you become vanaprastha, you go to retired lifestyle, and after vanaprastha, you take up sannyasa ashrama. And that is true for all four. Both genders. So, and therefore, as a couple, they will take up sannyasa and live separately in the forest in those days. But today there is no concept of sannyasa at all. In today's world, even the male members do not take up. In fact, there is no vanaprastha even. People want to work until they live. They don't want to retire at all. They will say, I am healthy, why should I retire? I should continue to work. That is the attitude today. Okay. Yeah. Last two stages are not being followed. Next, second line. Hatvartakamamstu gurun nihaiva bunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. Tu. Hatvartakamamstu. Tu means, however, hatva guru. However, to kill gurus, so he already said instead of killing them, it is better to seek alms. Now he says, however, if he kills them, in case he has to fight and he kills them, bunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. Bunjiya means I will enjoy. I will enjoy what? Bunjiya bhogan what? Arthakaman. Arthakaman means Hatva Arthakamamstu. We saw that. The second line, first line. Hatva Arthakamamstu. So Arthakaman there. Arthakaman means wealth and sense objects. Artha means wealth. Kaman means sensory pleasures. So I will bunjiya, I will enjoy Arthakaman, I will enjoy wealth and sense objects. When if I kill. However, if I kill them, I will enjoy wealth and sense objects. What type of sense objects? Bhogan. Bhogan means pleasure. I will get pleasure out of it. I will enjoy wealth and sense objects, and these are the ones that give me pleasure. But what kind of pleasure? He says, Eva Rudira Pradigdan. Rudira Pradigdan means, Eva means only. Only what kind of pleasure I will get? The blood-stained wealth and pleasure. Wealth and sensory pleasures. It is all blood-stained. It is not coming out of normal, it's blood money, they say, no. However, if I kill them, I will enjoy only the blood-stained pleasures of wealth and sense objects. So he's basically saying, I am not interested in this Bhagavan, I am not interested in this Krishna. I do not want to kill them. I am happy to actually go become a sannyasi, beg, seek my food, get my food from there. I do not, because if I kill them, I will definitely get wealth and sense objects, but it will all be stained with their blood, and I don't want it. So here again we are getting a peek into Arjuna's mindset. He has shown he is not interested in bhoga. He says, I'm not interested in pleasures. And which means when somebody is not interested in pleasure, it means they are displaying vairagya. So he is displaying vairagya. And remember, sometimes we also say, no, I am not interested in pleasure, but that all comes out of our mouth. It does not even come out of our mind or heart or even our intellect. It is for the sake of saying we may say certain things. But Arjuna is a person who is a Kshatriya and he is known for keeping his word. So when he says this, he means it. He says, I am not interested, I am willing to take up sannyasa, means he has already made up his mind, he can do it. So he definitely has shown vairagya. He wants to come out of this samsara. So he is basically crossed the second step. The first step is he is understood that he has a problem. Now he says he wants to come out of it. He wants to come out of his samsara. But he is having his own solutions. His way of coming out of samsara is to become sannyasi. So instead of actually doing this, I will become sannyasi and I will seek alms. So that is his way of coming out of samsara. That's what some people also do, right? When they get disheartened with their life, they'll say, I will rather seek sannyasa, I will become a sannyasi, I will give up, I will become sannyasi. That is actually a kind of they see as a way to come out of samsara. But remember, wherever we are going, even if you become sannyasi, not samsari, our samsari mind will come with us. The mind will be still ours. So if the mind is not mature enough, whether we have kashaya vashtra or a pant, jeans or t-shirt, it does not matter. The mind is still the same. So it is not about changing the costume. It is not about going from one place to another. It is not about growing a beard. It is not about telling the other world that I have become a sannyasi. It is about what we have in our mind. So now Bhagavan is waiting. Arjuna has crossed the second step. And Arjuna is now in the step where he is having his own solutions. Now he has to understand that his own solutions will not work. Only then he will surrender. So Bhagavan is still waiting. And he has to say, Bhagavan help me, Krishna help me. So until that time, Bhagavan is helpless, and Arjuna or any other person for that matter will not be ready to receive any input or any advice. So Bhagavan is waiting. Arjuna continues. Sloka 6. Na chaitat vidmah kataranno gariyah yadva jayema yadivano jayeyuhu यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामः तेव स्थिताः प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः न चैतद्विद्मः कतरन्नो गरीयः यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नो जयेयुः यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामः तेव स्थिताः प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः. See, the next three slokas are important slokas because here Arjuna comes to the conclusion that his idea or his solution will not work. And all of us are in a state of confusion or in a state of delusion sometime or other, most of the times in fact. And sometimes we do not even know what is truth. And sometimes what happens in many cases, we have this problem. There is something called truth. We think we know the truth, but we are not aware of it, that we do not know the truth. So, in fact, even for a spiritual seeker, suppose we say moksha is a solution. Many people do not even know that moksha is the solution to come out of samsara. Some people think meditation, some people think yoga, some people think nama sankirtanam, some people think bhajans, some people think service to society. Each one has their own thought process to say how they will be able to come out of this samsara. Everybody wants to be happy, everybody wants to, and they think that to come out of these problems there are different paths. Advaita Vedanta is very clear that the only way to moksha or the only way to liberation is jnana, knowledge. Knowledge alone can take us out of samsara. The knowledge is what? Knowledge of self. But to receive that knowledge, one has to prepare their mind, prepare the body and all those things, for which we have a lot of sadhanas. So, some people are aware that this is the path. Some people are not even aware that this is the path. Or some people think that they know the path, but they are not aware that they are wrong. So, and for those people who think that their path is right, their ego will refuse to accept or acknowledge it. And sometimes even when we are wrong, we do not want to accept it immediately, especially in places where our reputation is at stake. In offices, for example, or with other people whom we think we value their opinion. Even when we are wrong, we will try to downplay it, or we will try to cover up all those things. So here, Arjuna is now coming up and saying that I don't know how this is going to end up. And that is what he says. He says, Nachaitad vidmah kataranno gariyah. Cha means moreover, and cha means normally and, or here in this case moreover. Na vidmaha. Na vidmaha means we do not know. We do not know what. Katarad etad. Katarad etad means which one of these two courses. Katarad etad gariyah is better. Moreover, we do not know. He is including Krishna in this. Moreover, we do not know which one of these is better. Two courses. Which of the two? What are these two courses? Arjuna explains. Yadva jayema yadivano jayeyuhu. Yad, whether. Yad means whether. Va jayema, we conquer. Whether we will conquer them. Yadi vano jayeyuhu, or they will conquer us. So he says, I don't know which is better, whether we will conquer them, that is better, or they will conquer us. They will kill us and they will be victorious. I don't know which one is better. So basically, now he is speaking as if Bhagavan wants him to fight the war. If Bhagavan is refusing to give him any hope, and he is not willing to give him any rope to get out of this war, and he has to fight this war. Now he started thinking in those lines. Now he says, even if we fight, I don't know which one is better, whether we killing them or whether we conquering them or they conquering us. And Arjuna is confident that if he fights, Pandavas will win. So he has this. So he is further saying, Yan eva hatva na jiji vishamah. He says, Yan hatva, killing whom? Killing these people. Na jiji vishamah. Jiji vishamah. Vishamah, we will not, by killing them, we will not even desire to live. In other words, he says, even if we kill them, even if we conquer them, we will not desire to live, because that victory is not sweet. Who he doesn't want to kill? Te vasista, te avastitaha pramukhe dhartarashtraha. Those, te means those, avastitaha. Avastita means assembled people. Who are these? Pramukhe. Who are they? In front. Who are they? Dhartarashtraha. These Kauravas. And basically Arjuna is referring to Drona and Bhishma here. So he says, I don't know which is better, whether they killing us or we killing them. But he also knows that when he fights, he will win definitely. And therefore he adds the second line to say, by killing them, we will not even have a desire to live afterwards. So now he is coming to that helpless state. Now Arjuna is coming to a helpless state where he knows that he doesn't have an answer. He is now confused. He is now in the confused state. He is now gone into the third step. Then the fourth step is only pending, which is basically he has to surrender, which he will do in the next sloka. So in the next sloka, he will surrender to Bhagavan, which we will see in the next class. Any questions or comments? Anything? Okay. If not, we will see again in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Om.